From the poisonous studios of Lehigh Valley Public Media in Bethlehem, PA, it is time for another horrifying episode of chemical-free horticultural hijinks. You bet your garden. I'm your host, mad scientist Mike McGrath. What's the scariest plant that can appear in your backyard? Giant hogweed, poison ivy, poison hemlock, maybe because it closely resembles Queen Anne's lace. On today's show, we'll vote for pokeweed because its toxic purple berries are so tempting to kids. Otherwise, it's a fabulous phone call show. Cassie Kittens, yes, potential guests are busy examining their elderberries. So we will take that heap and help it. Of your telecommunicated questions, comments, tips, tricks, suggestions, and fantastically furious fulminations. So keep your eyes and or ears right here, true believers, because it's coming up faster than you pulling up poisonous plants right after this. Support for You Bet Your Garden is provided by the Espoma Company, offering a complete selection of natural organic plant foods and potting soils. More information about Espoma and the Espoma Natural Gardening Community can be found.
What happened?
Election officials in a little bit of a bind. You know, on one hand, this can be a really good opportunity to educate some of these people and potentially bring them out of some of these conspiratorial rabbit holes about elections. But also, it can be kind of a powder keg if people who are actually involved in the mechanisms of elections believe there is fraud and want to do things to try to, find that fraud. I talked about that with Spencer.
Well, it's like you say, Justine,
Who are changing the way the world talks about language.
Many thanks to Wayward board member and our friend Bruce Rogo for his help and expertise.
Thanks for listening. I'm Grant Barrett.
And I'm Martha Barnett. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sure something about work. And I record it so I can play it back. I don't always get the signal. heading on the road, and I've got
Support for
thousands of hours.
WETS
So,
comes from the King Institute for Faith and Culture, presenting Daniel Silliman, news editor at Christianity Today. Silliman's talk, Listen to Your Donkeys, What I've Learned from Reporting on the Sexual Abuse Crisis in American Evangelism, is open to the public at Central Presbyterian Church in Bristol at 7 p.m. on November 7th. king.edu/faith and culture.
Coming to you from the campus of East Tennessee State University, this is WETS HD1 and WETS FM,
Yep.
Johnson City, Tennessee.
good show. Good show. Really, really good show. Not every public radio station does a good job. These guys do. They produce a lot of their own shows, which is a sign of a good public community. Inside Appalachia.
New Dimensions is brought to you by Friends of New Dimensions membership support and by Larson Publications, publisher of the book An Open Life, Joseph Campbell in conversation with Michael Toms. New Dimensions and our quarter-hour New Dimensions Cafe programs are now available worldwide as podcasts. You can find them at the iTunes Store and on many podcast sites and mobile apps. You can also find our podcasts and much more on our website, newdimensions.org. It is only through a change in human consciousness that the world will be transformed.
That's the alternative
The
technology.
personal and the planetary are connected. As we expand our awareness of mind, body, psyche, and spirit, and bring awareness actively into the world, so also will the world be changed. This is our quest as we explore new dimensions.
Abrams did a TV show called Twins. You should go watch it. That's library.
Is a world of spirituality separate and more valuable than ordinary everyday living? Does a fully awakened person mean they're not affected by their emotions? The French philosopher Descartes was certain that we could alleviate chaos and provide certainty through rational means. His reigning philosophy was one of separating the mystery of spirit from the life of the body. Reason ruled, and sensing, feeling, intuition, and emotions took a back seat to logic and conceptual thinking. And that philosophy continues to rule this day, although quantum physics.
Materialism, reality. I only believe in reality because it's like I make money off it. That isn't what Descartes was talking about.
Quantum physics and other scientific research are pointing to a reality beyond the perceptions of our strictly rational brain.
Right.
Today we'll be exploring the embodied spiritual path and what it means to live more consciously in a human body with our guest, Dr. Richard Strozzi Heckler. Richard Strozzi Heckler is a doctor of psychology and a Shihan 7-degree black belt in Aikido. He's a renowned speaker, coach, and consultant on embodied leadership and mastery, and has spent more than 5 decades researching, developing, and teaching somatics to business leaders, executive managers, and teams of Fortune 500 companies, NGOs, technology startups, nonprofits, and the U.S. government and military. He's the founder of the Strozzi Institute, where he teaches courses on somatic coaching and leadership in action. He's the author of many books, including In Search of the Warrior Spirit and Embodying the Mystery, Somatic Wisdom for Emotional, Energetic, and Spiritual Awakening.
Very good book.
Join us for the next hour as we explore the quest for a fully embodied presence through the practice of meditation, Aikido, and somatics with our guest, Dr. Richard Straussy Heckler.
Listen to this.
I'm speaking with Richard from his home by remote connection. I'm Justine Willis Toms. You're listening to New Dimensions. Richard, welcome to New Dimensions.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Justine. Finally, we're doing this.
Finally, yes, you've been on our list for a long time. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I'm relieved, though, because this newest book, it just encompasses so much of all of your experience and work. And the subtitle in the book is Somatic Wisdom. So let's just first talk about what is somatic methodology. It's beyond psychotherapy, right?
Yes, let me start with the understanding that soma is a early Greek word that means the living body in its wholeness. And really that view was that inside of this form, this shape that we call body, is our thinking, our emotional life, our moods, the imagery that we cultivate, our actions, and that's different than there's one piece called body, one piece called mind, and one piece called spirit.
Jamie,
in other words, here we are in this singular nervous system, and we're able to access these things by coming into the life of our body. And somatics means the art and science of the soma.
I'm reminded of a quote you have in your book. You speak of a man from New Guinea who said, "In my country, we have a proverb that says, knowledge is only a rumor until it's in the muscle." And this just reminds me, knowledge and wisdom need to be embodied. We think of knowledge and wisdom and we think, oh, it's just this, our head, our brain, our intellect.
The quote came.
So that's what I'm talking about in that. When I say you're not your body, right? That's not the only thing you are. You know? Your body is your avatar. It is a vehicle that you experience your consciousness and your spirit through. Otherwise, those two things would not be able to have an effect on the work in progress, the whip, right? And that's why we were put here. We were put here. We didn't create a big sin by leaving, the Garden of Paradise. What we did was we exercised a free will that we had, and we showed great valor and honor, respect, and love for the burning bush, right? And because burning bush made it very clear that it was a work in progress, and we were the reflection of, made in the image and likeness of God. So the only way that the burning bush, the work in progress, could move forward was to watch our reflection of it, right? And how we did things, and why, the Torah or the Old Testament was so graphically violent, is because that's how we were reacting to the trauma of being put into a physical body that has a sense of time, a sense of pain, a sense of fear. And all of these things are not negative things. These are things that are mechanisms that we use as an avatar to gauge the goings on around us, right? So the burning bush can experience, a life in progress, right? So this guy here, he is, like I said, he's like the doppelganger of me, But what he did was he doubled down from childhood on specifically focusing on one thing, right? Me, I was doing a zillion things at once, right? And I had the capability of doing them all relatively well. And the things I wasn't interested in, I just didn't do. So, standing up in class and presiding like a robot, I just didn't do. And I got murdered for it in first grade. And I had a great teacher in high school. I was telling you about him yesterday, Mr. Bukhar. And he basically told me, because I was surrounded by the richest people on the planet, and I wasn't trying to impress anybody. It was just being me because I didn't know better. Kennedy was my roommate in sophomore year. And he used to really get upset with me because I'd be reading a book, all the time on my little desk, my little land, keeping the light out of his face, reading and writing, and reading and writing, reading and writing. And he basically said, why are you reading books? I said, well, it's to get to know. I don't need to know anything. I'm a Kennedy. And that was a good portion of the population of that school had that attitude. And it was interesting because we really didn't have any bullies. Nobody really picked on anybody because everyone was a bully themselves. So, and they weren't the kind of worrying bully, meaning they were just a big gorilla, the power, the money that they were born into and had. Like me, I was unconscious that, I was just upper middle class, and that I had people behind me wanting me to be X, Y, and Z and wanting me in that school to rub shoulders with those people because that's who runs the world. They wanted me to be part of that, to represent that. I didn't represent anybody but God's unconditional love. Boy, so was that a good lunch, men? Was that a good lunch? Yeah, this is my office/lunch room. I really like their soup. You should. For a corporate supermarket, they make pretty good soup. What did you get? You had sandwiches? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I like their hoagies if I'm going to get one. Their fried chicken is really good. Everything they do here is pretty good. Why not? Yeah, but it's that little. They're trying to impress you by charging you 20 cents more for the same thing you can get at Walmart's. And that's why they do that. See, right? That's why they do that. Walmart's, if they were going to have a place like this, they would have you eating off the floor. Yeah, just to eat off the floor. Are you guys retired or working or barely working or you father and son or friends? Father and son. I could tell because you're wearing the same hat. It's one of those giveaways. I was born and raised up here. Oh, in Boone? Yeah. And then I left the school down Raleigh. Right. Never came back. What school did you go in Raleigh? State. I went to Duke and UNC, but just to have a good time. Oh, yeah. I was a newspaper photographer in 1968 and 69 in Hopewell, North Carolina, the furniture capital of the world. Well, I graduated in 68, and one of my best friends in school he's a great photographer. He was great, he popped out of his mother's womb with a camera. And so he was working at a newspaper when we were going to high school. And his boss died, and they made him photo editor. He said, do you want to be a photographer? I said, sure. It was like being Batman, right? You knew all the cops, you knew everybody. And I was very good at making people look really good or really bad. That picture of that rock and roll guy and his hair is standing up. Well, if I want to make you look bad, I would catch you at that moment. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we haven't changed really. It's just advertising. You know, it's like when Coke and Pepsi really went at it in the '70s. That was Jesse Helms. You know, I mean, it's a joke. Our politics is and has been a joke. I mean, do you know what the Shays Rebellion is? That's why we have a constitution. 2 years after the revolution, the guys at Washington, you know, kind of cajoled into fight because nobody wanted to fight. Nobody wanted to be, you know, a third of the people were, I'm English. I like George, you know. The other third was so far out on the boundaries, no one knew where they were. But the indentured white folk, that's who Washington said, okay, listen, we'll give you your 40 acres and a mule. You know, the black folks should have known better. And so they went and fought, and they came back, and they did get their 40 acres and a mule, but it was taken away from them within a year. Now, they had a gun. They had just spent 3 years fighting a war, so they knew tactics, and they ate everyone's lunch. And all those guys ran to Pennsylvania and wrote a constitution, which was a business, which was a contract. Whereas the Declaration of Independence, you ever read that? That is a real document. That is the one. I think, you know, Jefferson was smoking a bunch of his hemp, you know, it's because he was like, so that's the real deal. Constitution is just we the white men who own everything from here on out. And you got to go. You got to go. Yes. Well, you know, this is what I never have to go anywhere. I don't have a schedule.
Well, you do, unfortunately.
You have a wife?
Oh, yeah,
That's exactly. I don't have one. That's why your clothes are clean, and I've been wearing this since August. So I have a good time here. Can't see anything with those. How about these? They still just want to be there. 22 minutes in, and you know, so that's me. I rant and rave in a nice kind of way, right? So, oh, well, I sent John. Here, I'll play this for you. Not on that one. This one. Now, my friend, Lucky Guy, sent me this, and I'll play it for you. It is the Lucky Ones by Julian Lennon. Boop, boop, boop.
Have you ever tried those CBD products and it did nothing for you?
No, it did nothing for me.
It's not good for some people.
Yeah, it's not so good for me. Yeah. It's not the one I saw. Let's see. See if we can get this up on my page. All right. Here we go. Julian Lennon, Lucky Ones.
Everyone is searching, trying to find a new religion. Some peace of mind
And that is what it is, gang. You know, that is what's going on. That the powers that be, you know, they want you scared, want you petrified. Then you're malleable and you can be manipulated. So let's call. I shared that video with John. Let's see if John saw it, what he thinks of it. Do 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 do. Boo 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 boo.
Hello?
Hey there, John. It's Al.
No.
So did you get the
Praise God, praise Jesus, praise God, praise Jesus,
Did you-
praise God, praise Jesus. Protect us from evil, protect us from evil, protect the people who are around you who are maybe non-believers, protect them from evil, protect them from evil. This is not how I talk. I never say the word hell unless I'm describing in reality where people who are wicked will go for all eternity. I don't use the word hell. So don't distort my words to mean something that I didn't say. No offense. You may be more righteous than me, but no, I don't use the word hell, and I don't say things that other people regularly say. Like my dad throws the word hell around and pretends that he's more, he knows best or whatever.
So John, did you see the link I sent you, Julian Lennon's
Yes, it was bad.
bad?
I think, bad feeling, meaning bad versus good. It felt bad. It felt
he was talking.
Kind of love in my heart.
He was
kind of love in my heart, and I had to turn it off. It felt bad.
But why?
I'm sorry. Because my dad's so cool. He wants us to argue. My dad's so cool, so he wants us to argue because he thinks that you may cost money or something. So that's why right now he wants to make it like there's an argument between us.
Well, there's never an argument between us. I mean, I don't argue, and you don't really argue,
Now he tried to make it like an asshole going into my mouth with somebody if I kept talking and trying to control every orifice in my body into doing things his way, because it's really God who did it, because God wants me to honor my father and mother. So
isn't God
after my wife? It comes after my wife.
Isn't God unconditional love?
God is first. He did it again. Try to put shit into my mouth with somebody's ass.
Isn't
I don't even give a shit anymore. I'm tired of it.
But isn't God's love unconditional? Isn't Jesus' forgiveness unconditional?
I don't know. No, I may be wrong about that. You can't love the devil. That's throwing away the love. He takes and takes and takes. He's selfish and takes for himself. That's the devil. God never takes. God is never selfish. God gives to others.
God is unconditional love.
Yeah, or love, but what do you mean unconditional love? You can't love sin. You can't love the wrong things. That's not love. So God is love.
Right. And that love is...
All the love we know and feel is from God.
Right. And God is not... God does not judge.
What do you mean? God judges. God will judge. God will judge people because some people are wicked or some people sin too much and they continued to sin and they knew they had a feeling inside God and Jesus are real, but they turned their back on God and Jesus because they didn't want to do God's work on earth, or for whatever reason they lived their lives the wrong way. They continued working in unrighteousness, or they continued sinning, and they continued living bad, mean lifestyles and did the occult, or all those ways that people can be bad and do mean things and hurt others, or fornicate, or lust too much, or be mean. And they continue doing those things, and that's how they live their entire life, and they refuse to know God
and they didn't learn enough from the Bible, and mostly the New Testament, they didn't learn enough about Jesus in the New Testament, which means kindness to others, not the vengeful God of the Old Testament as much, but they didn't, and they're mean. They're mean, and then so on Judgment Day, God has to say, well, He has to let the sin that they did just kill themselves. It kills them. It kills them. He doesn't have. I think He doesn't have to punish them, but He knows where they're supposed to go, because the sin all has to be burned up and destroyed. It has to be destroyed, so then the rest of us who are good and kind and did things God's way and Jesus' way can live forever, for all eternity. And our bodies are not always most important, of course.
Well, our body is just a avatar. It's to experience life so we can show what free will is and to serve God's love. That's why we have a body. When we were in the Garden of Eden, everything was perfect. We didn't have any trials or tribulations, but
it's not always easy.
No, it's never easy. It's never easy.
I don't feel like going back. But it's about being a humble servant of God.
Right.
You may end up being rich, or may end up having $10 your name, or may have 400,000, or may have 10 million, or may have who knows how much, and it's up to God, and we're supposed to do God's work.
I mean, you just have to look at all the rich people. They never look too happy,
Some of them may be. Some of them get to heaven.
Well, I think actually everyone gets to heaven after a while.
No. Oh, you think they're burned up and they no longer exist if they continue in that sin, and that's all they did, or that's mostly all they ever did. There's wicked people who have to burn up, and then their torment goes into the heavens for all eternity.
So what do you think the worst sin is?
That live forever, that with their soul, or their bodies are living forever in ash as it goes into the atmosphere. That's their torment, that they remember how awful it is every moment of it. Really, really bad for all eternity. Some of them. Oh, sorry, you were trying to say something good. You were trying to say something good. God and Jesus.
Well, God is unconditional love, and Jesus is unconditional forgiveness. And within that context, what is sin?
Sin is this really, it's not only stupid, well, the thing is, it's really, really, really bad. But the thing is, it's kind of stupid, and it's wrong, meaning it's the actual wrong thing. It's actually really stupid and bad, because you would choose that when it hurts yourself right back. The devil, it's from the devil.
Okay.
From the devil.
So you're right on about that. A sin is really stupid because it makes no real sense.
The devil wanted to be like God. He wanted to be like God, so it's the only original thing that the devil came up with. God is the most original, beautiful one who came up with everything good. God is the most beautiful, original one who's there at all times. He's somewhere where we may not know. He's beautiful, and to think about the sin, it makes him feel bad. He doesn't like it because he doesn't get angry at it, but it makes him feel bad, and it makes him sad, I think, a little bit, but I don't know.
Yes, no, I would say so. Yes, God is not sad, but
I don't know.
The essence of God is that He is just trying to assist us to know our better self, and that's why. If you make a mistake,
doesn't like to look us in the. Some people are not worthy to look God in the eyes, because we haven't lived righteous lives enough to even be able to look in His eyes. Because the way that we sin and live and stuff, we may try to be kind to Him in our ways of being kind, and it's so sinful compared to how good God is that we're not even worthy to look in His eyes.
Well, the best thing to do for God, to make God happy is to treat others as we would wish to be treated. It's pretty simple. So I just wanted to check in on you. I'm getting ready to close up shop here for the winter. And
I just got the feeling that my dad, that I got really sad, almost depressed again, how I was. And I've been very depressed where I wanted to kill myself, or give up many times before in the past. And I started getting depressed again, thinking about my wife and kids. And then I got the thought about from my dad that wasn't bad enough feeling. He wanted me to feel worse. So I got the thought for me to get a hooker.
why would your dad want you to feel worse? Your dad loves you. Your parents love you.
He sent a text about my mom's foot being hurt. She's at the doctor, and I almost gave up on the thought of her foot even being okay. But then I thought, it's okay. It's okay. Her foot's okay. Her foot's okay. Her foot's okay.
Yeah.
So where I just went through right now, and that's how I felt.
Well, all you have to do is, breathe deep, fill your lungs with Jesus' unconditional forgiveness, and say, I love you, God. I love you, God. I love you, God. And
Maybe
mean
my
it.
dad's angry.
God will never meet.
My dad thinking about things like a hooker or something, or somebody else is thinking of a hooker, or you or Tom or somebody. I don't know. I haven't thought about Tom in a long time. It's been pretty amazing. I don't even hear him other than when he's on the road and I wave to him and I'm kind to him and I see him on the road. But and that's how I act around him pretty much sometimes. So I'm like, hi.
So Mishka was there for a long time.
I'm kind to Tom. I get along with Tom.
Well,
I get along with Tom, but I haven't heard him at my house or anything. Like it went back to how it should be.
good.
He's literally too far away to hear.
Right.
But I had created like a thought that he was there, but it was something else. It was like he can't hear anything. His house is too far away.
Yes.
And then I put on loud music and went outside to listen how far we could hear away from the house, and you can't hear it at all.
Right.
And then next door, and they can't hear it.
So what are the new people in Dumpington like?
There's a single guy.
No.
There's a single guy. He works and comes home by himself, and he's like young, but maybe Alex's age. He's a little different though. He looks like Alex a little bit, but he's different from Alex. He's not like into like. He's not as Alex is a good person. I got along with Alex.
Yeah. Well, Alex was a great guy. He was a really great guy.
He liked some of the same. He was okay, but this guy I get along with too. He's okay, but I don't talk to him that much. But here and there, he's okay.
Right.
He works at some. Oh, he met you before.
Oh.
He talked to you in a coffee shop pot or something.
Oh.
I don't.
Okay. Well, I've been around a long time. I pretty much talked to almost everybody. Anyway. Well, I just wanted to tell you I was thinking good thoughts for you because I want only the best. And I thought you would like that video because it was, about rebirth and rejuvenation and love and God's love and Jesus's forgiveness. I thought it was a pretty good video. But, it's I just want the best for you, buddy. So you stay well. I'll see you soon. And I'm always thinking positive and sending you love. Okay, buddy. You stay well. Well, that was a little glimpse of, John's a great guy. He has, he wants to do the best. He wants to have Jesus and and God's love. And he's so anxious, he just can't get in that flow, that soma, that balance between nature, spirit, and consciousness. And that's what we're here to do, is to bring that. So breathe in, breathe out. And meditation isn't a process of like separating yourself. Meditation isn't a process of like getting things to go away, the things you worry about to get them go away. No. Meditation is a process in which we release that being stuck, that we want everything to be the same or be this or be that. We let it go. And so whenever, a challenge or friction or any of those things that may upset us, we get to see them far enough away. We have our 360, we see them blocks away, and we see what it is, and we don't let it get in our grill, right? And we are aware of our 20, where we're stepping. So we can step into the best situation we have, right? And that is what this life's about. And, things seem to be really screwed up. Now I'm old enough, I'm in my 70s, and I've experienced a lot of stuff. We haven't really gotten out of the economic hole that was dug in, between the Civil War and now, right? We're still dealing with the same issues and the same economic dynamics of, the haves having and everyone else not, being the have-nots instead of sharing, caring, and being in a somic motif. So, what time is it? Oh, it's 12:21. I love it when it does it. So, what else is? Who else can we talk to? See what Mr. Magic Man has to say.
Please leave your message for.
Let's see. When you go to see John, oh, he's got a lot of room. He's got like 7,000 square feet. He has 3 other buildings. Or 2 other buildings, and one's full of my stuff, and the other is fixed up really nice. Right? I mean, he could rent that whole place out. It's set up. I mean, he has an upstairs apartment. He could rent the bottom part out. He could rent. I mean, that's what I did at one time. And I ran a school there too during the summers. When I had the people camp out on the trail, there's this amazing spiritual trail that goes around the hill, up the hill, and then back down, up behind the A-frame, up around, and then down. And it was where all the Cherokee had all its, and it had its kitchens, it had 2 altars, and energy site, probably the best way to put it. And my dog Bella, she came in and discovered it and said, "Hey, look at this!" And we kind of walked up around it. And when I did that, one of my groups of adepts who studied with me, that was our project, to cut that path back out and clear out where the kitchen was, clear out where the altars were, and clear out where the energetic spot was. And we built a treehouse that was right up in the air, but in the line of the energetic energy. So it was like a freestanding orgone box. And so, I had a lot of people stay there over the years. And how I did it, I did rent it out a couple of times when I wasn't there. And the upstairs apartment, I just kept mine, locked that up, and it was like mostly the winter time, and I would go not for a long time, but I would leave before Christmas and come back around March. So I did that a number of times. And again, the hill is this place that it loves. It's like a puppy dog. It loves you, right? But it doesn't understand you, right? And it's like when Charlie Brown would be listening to the teacher, and she'd So the hill, it sees humans and they're partying and they're drinking and doing drugs, and it says, that's what they want. So everybody who lived up there was kind of whack, right? And went whack. If they weren't whack, they stayed up there, and that's why I never stayed up there 24/7, 365. I was there maybe just like the Deep Green. I was there 5 or 6 weeks of the year. Because I had a place down in Florida, and another couple other places, Lynchburg, Winton, so and up there in good old Floyd. I had lots of places to stay, and I would fix them up and rent them out, and being a landlord, you don't really have to do that much to make a pretty good capital flow. So I didn't have lots, but I had a few, and that was enough for me. Right? And then I started working with the corporate guys. They paid me ridiculous sums of money, and I didn't work. People worked. Really worked. A whole 11 months. You only work 11 weeks for us. If you worked 11 months, you'd be a millionaire every year. I said, I don't need that. But I don't need that. What you pay me for 11 months is way more than I need. I mean, so much so I gained 240 pounds. I mean, for 10 years, I had the most hedonist life because I hung out with these guys. They paid the bills, and then they gave me a salary. So, and we were coming to a time where, 2012 was that time. We left the Piscean age and went into the Aquarian age, and now we're totally in the Aquarian age, and that's why there's so much friction. Because the Aquarian, Aquarian sign is a fixed sign, right? And it wants everyone to fix themselves. See, I'm an Aquarian, and I'm Mr. Fix-It. So it wants everyone to, be kumbaya, be like Star Trek. Yeah, there'll be a little, war with the Klingons and blah, 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 but that's only so you can learn things. It's like when Jimmy Boy was put on that planet with the reptile, and they had to fight each other, and the reptile was stronger and just as smart and all the rest, and he could handle the heat where Jimmy Boy couldn't, and so there were, the reptile had a lot of things going for him. He moved slow, but he knew that Jimmy Boy one day was going to trip and break his leg, and that would be it. And whereas Jimmy realized, oh look, there's gunpowder here. I can make gunpowder. Oh, diamonds. Oh, look at this. Something I use as a tube to shoot this shit. And so he does. And he's like, hurts his leg and he's limping and he's gathering all this stuff. He sticks it in there and he makes fire, and then he puts it on. Boom! And he blows those diamonds into the reptile. And he's there with the big, blade to get him. And he goes, no, I'm not going to do this. These guys, said that we were on their land, and maybe we were, and maybe it was just a misunderstanding. I'm not going to kill this guy just so you can watch me kill him. And he threw it down, and then bing, the guy showed up and said, well, very good. You're not as stupid as we thought you were. Okay. So he wants us just to wipe out all his people? No. Put him back on a ship. He'll have something to think about, and maybe we can be friends down the line. And the guy, well, that's even better. Very good. Maybe there is hope for you guys. See, that is basically humans. We haven't hit any finish line. We are a work in progress, And I'm betting on, like that video I showed you there, we're the lucky guys. I know I'm a lucky bastard. I've died 7 times. I've been in some of the most harrowing situations you can imagine. And I am not that guy I started this off with, Mr. Soma, And why do they use Soma? Soma is a Greek word for being in balance and harmony with your body, your consciousness, and your spirit. That's what Soma is in Greek, right? Ancient Greek too. But in Brave New World, the drug everyone was taking was Soma, right? So that's why we are a work in progress, right? And the only person who's ever going to judge you is going to be you, and not, some guy over there, It's that guy over there is not even over there. He's like right here in us, that spirit, And Jesus, he didn't leave the building. If Jesus had left the building, we wouldn't be here. We'd be toast. This has been always, before we were here, Jesus was here, right? If you read the Old Testament, you realize that. So, and all that Jesus was a human who was the avatar for the spirit of Jesus, the conscious spirit of Jesus. He came down, and it has happened. Buddha, Vishnu, a whole other bunch of folk like that are Jesus, just in a different cultural sense, constantly come down and visit and basically interact with us to give us hope and give us examples, right? And I am a lucky bastard. I'm here to serve Love's Co-Creations. Since day one that I started doing this YouTube, I was basically talking about this, right? And I was talking about the big splat, right? What is the big splat? We're experiencing the big splat. It's the rebranding of the same old thing, right? But it's not going to fly. And the more it's not flying, the more friction will be created. And so that's what we're, until people, someone asked Albert Einstein, how can we stop war? And Albert Einstein said, war will only end when young men and women refuse to fight war, in the war, right? So that's kind of where we're at, It's up to you to do your best, right? Don't have to be perfect, just do your best, right? To be consciously aware of what you're doing, see it clearly, right? And be consciously intent with what you're doing. Don't do anything unless you're conscious. Just don't do things blindly. Don't be a robot. So, who else can we talk to? Let's see. Let's see how we. Do.
I'm sorry, but the person you called.
So what else? Well, if you want to get a hold of me, the dudeawake42@gmail, dudeawake42@gmail, dudeawake42@gmail. Okay. What time is it? Holy moly! Time. It's only 12:30. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see if this goes around.
Please leave your message.
Hey there, Misty. Hope you're doing well. It's the 2nd of November, and sometime before Thanksgiving, I'm going to be in your neighborhood. So, love to see you. See you soon. I hope you're well. Are you going to see your kids? Let's shake it. Anyway, give me a buzz. You know my number. Okay. I guess nobody picks the phone up at lunchtime. Let's see if the lucky guy picks up. Do. Hey, just tune in. So, I'll talk to you soon. There he is. Hey, I'm on the live chat. You want to be on that? Okay. Here we go. So, are you in country or are you bouncing around?
Give me 1 second, sir, please.
Okay. This is my rainbow brother. We've been together for many lives.
I am back.
And you're back. Okay. So, are you in Africa or in the U.S. of A.?
I am in the US of A as of 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Just came back, man.
Okay, so tell me about Africa. What was the story?
The story about Africa, in Africa, everything is for real, man. Everything is real. Poverty, corruption, smiles, people are real. Everything is real there. There's nothing superficial there.
Good. And is everyone working it out?
Well, things are working out to my great surprise. I'm really shocked that those people don't start revolution, that they don't start killing rich people, because it's terrible. It's the worst I've ever seen anything like it. I mean, Zimbabwe, for example. I mean, those people get fucked royally. I mean, first they were screwed by white people. Now they are doing it to themselves.
Well, and they're still getting screwed by white people because the themselves who are screwing them are being paid by the white people to do it.
Yeah. But now the new rulers are Chinese. Right. Chinese are stealing everything they can, man.
Well, I mean, the Chinese are just us with a more interesting tan.
No, but at least white men build some structure. They build something, and Chinese, they can just come and take them. That's all there is to it.
Right. Well, the white people had 400 years to take stuff. The Chinese really realize they only have 60.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
You know?
And when I was in Kenya, I met this guy, and he says, look, we had, as soon as the British left, our railroad system, they just fell apart. He says, we have this great education system, railroad, and many things were in place when they were here.
Right.
Now, there's nothing going on, he says.
Well, one of the things about it's like when Iran, right? When we were there, they were like the Paris of Persia, right?
Yeah.
And when and they had the biggest they had a bigger air force than Israel did. They had a stronger army than any other Egyptian folk. And when we left, we took all the little magic boxes and all those tanks and airplanes, and they didn't fly. So they were like thrown asunder. And by doing that, it forced those folks to have to figure it out, how to make. So they did, it gave them the ability to have nuclear weapons and all of that kind of stuff that they thought they needed to have. And that too was another stick in the eye on them. Meaning if they had just, said, okay, we're just going to be our best selves. We're going to look at Islam. We're going to look at our Persian heritage, and we're going to be the best that was in all that. Man, they would be on top of it.
Yeah.
But they got screwed by being stuck in that thing of going after Satan, They all became John Birmingham.
Yeah, but anyhow, the biggest shock to my system was the people, man. Okay?
Tell me.
I mean, you would have those people, they are poor and they are struggling and they're hustling, but when they flash a smile, that's the widest and the most sincere smile you'll ever see. I was really shocked. So for some reason, that's the biggest thing from Africa that I took.
You know why? Because that's you. You saw the reflection of you.
Oh man, you just know what to say, man. You're after me, right? What do you want from me? Just say it. You can have it. No, I'm serious. Just name it, man. Okay.
Yep. Because that's you. I mean, why did we? I mean, we met at probably one of the crappiest rainbow gatherings there were.
Yeah.
And we were probably in the crappiest camp that there was. We were in goat camp. And, you saw me, I saw you. And it was, that's when it was like the end of Casablanca. It was the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We had chemistry, we had biology, we had history, everything together, right?
Yep. So you were like the French guy, and I was, the American guy.
So anyhow, man, this is the Africa. That was opening trip. That was the best trip I ever taken, man. It was something.
So my take on it, from only being on the edges of Africa, like North Africa. I mean, people don't realize that North Africa is part of Africa,
Yeah.
But that's about as close as I got to Africa. But my observation of Africa is that the people are in the best position to survive whatever this crap that's going down is.
Well, they have a lot of practice, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know, if you know a nuclear war or anything kind of like that broke out, Europe would be gone, Russia would be gone, China would be gone, America would be gone, and Africa would still be there.
Yeah. So anyhow, I hate to agree with that famous criminal, but the countries that I went to, they're all shitholes, man. It's a bad. The system is bad. I don't know how these people are surviving. It's tough, man. It's really tough. And I don't know about the rest of Africa, but down south it's bad.
Right. Well, all of it's basically the Europeans left, but they haven't left. I mean, they're still exploiting them. They're still taking, and like I said, the Africans are the ones who are going to survive. And if I was younger, if I was a younger guy, if I was like 25, I would move to Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
But I mean, didn't you? I mean, you said it yourself that was the place where you felt life going on, right? I mean, real life, right?
Yeah, man, everything is real down there.
So that is the story.
Anyhow, pretty soon I'm going to post that video of that Virgin dance.
Okay.
So this is like the highlight of my trip. That's the reason I went there, to see that 15,000 virgins dancing in front of the king.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask him a few points how he does it. Maybe I can learn.
Right. Yes. So talking about that, how's your queen doing?
Okay, man. The queen is okay, man. She hasn't given me a hard time yet, so I'm a little worried.
No, she missed you. She missed you.
No, she's real nice to me. I'm worried. I don't know what's going on.
Well, she missed you. Plus, she was happy that you weren't there. You know,
Oh my God.
she had to, you know, she could get up every morning in her slippers and not have to worry that you were there. You know.
Yeah.
And yet,
So,
at the same time, she missed you, so that's why she's not giving you a hard time. She had, what was it, 3 months you were gone?
2 months.
2 months.
7
So
weeks. 7 weeks.
right. So she had 7 weeks of like doing, you know, not being bothered, and now you're back, and she likes it that you're back.
Actually, my next trip should be to South America in 5 weeks, but I'll let you know about that.
Your next trip is come to get me. I'm spending the winter in New York, and I have a house to live in.
Well, you are right now there?
No, I will be.
Oh.
I mean, 98% sure, but things can always happen.
Somebody left you a place to take care of?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So you know, you can come there, and we get a load. And there are loads. I've talked to a lot of my New York friends. They're really psyched that I'm coming back. So you come to New York for a week or two, we'll have a really good time, and you'll have a place to stay.
Well, this is most. That's very. I mean, I'll probably do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just one of your airplane rides from Chicago to New York. Period. You know.
Yeah. But there was something important I want to talk about Africa, which I'm getting. I
Okay.
now, man.
Okay.
I forgot about that, but there was something important I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Anyhow, so I went from first I went to South Africa,
Right.
then I went to Swaziland, which has an official name like Eswatini. That's their name.
Right.
Kingdom of Eswatini. That's Swaziland.
Right.
And then I went to Zimbabwe, then I went to Kenya and Egypt. But you know that guy Rhodes? You know that's
Oh yeah. Yes. Rhodes. Yeah. The guy who screwed the world. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is the one, man. I was shocked. I mean, not shocked, but I was surprised to find out that he's the one that he stole a lot of goodies from Africa.
Well, of course. I mean, he was the evil genius behind the English Empire.
Yeah. I was really surprised. I didn't know much about it.
You know, Rhodes scholars. I mean, that's what built for any jerk off in politics, they're a Rhodes Scholar.
Okay. Yeah.
Bill Clinton, prime example.
Okay. I like what's the word you used? What's the word you used? Can you say one more time?
Rhodes Scholar.
No, you said jerk off.
Oh, jerk off. Oh, jerk off, yes. Yeah.
Hey, so listen, let's talk about you. How are you doing, man?
Well, I had a great summer. All the rich people left. I was left by my own devices. It was beautiful. It rained just enough. It was sunny most of the time. It wasn't too hot or too cold. Right now, it's in the 70s. The sun has been shooting off some pretty interesting X-flares, and so instead of having the jet stream come straight across, there's this big dip. So everybody, about a month ago, we had 1 week where it was in the 20s, right? The cold came down from the north and got us. But it's been in the 70s ever since. And it looks like it's going to be in the 70s for at least another couple of weeks. So,
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas Texas is in the 20s.
What? Texas in 20s?
Yeah.
What's with that, man?
It's like I said, it's this, instead of the jet stream going straight across, it's this hyperbolic curve so the really cold air from the north is coming down into into the United States. And you are just outside it, meaning how far are you to Kansas? Not that far, right? Kansas is
Not too far. No, not too far. No.
well, they're going to be cold, but you're still going to stay warm. You were right on that edge of where, it's probably in the 60s where you are, right?
Yeah. It's beautiful, man. It's been and the whole time Chicago has been pretty good. And I just came back from Europe, and they're having the best Indian summer in the history of Indian summers.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, and we're still in it. Like I said, a couple more weeks. So that's my and it's being nice because I have no cash to spend on heat. So like last night it was 65 in my unheated man cave.
Wow.
Yeah.
65
at night. Yeah, at like 3 a.m. Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's perfect. That's like perfection.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
man. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking there was something important I want to tell you, man, about this, but I can't. It was
Okay.
It was kind of.
Well, was it a good thing, a bad thing, an in between thing?
Well, it was the thing. It was just how I saw Africa.
Right.
I think it was good. I think it was something about that virgin dances and things like that.
Well, talking about that, have you looked at my YouTube lately?
I saw one yesterday. It was called what was it? Be happy or something? Not be happy. Be content, whatever.
Right.
I saw one yesterday.
Well, a good one you should go take a look at is Spooky World. I did it on Halloween.
I didn't see that.
Well, go see it. It's up there.
Okay.
Spooky World.
All right.
And what it was, I did it on my phone rather than my laptop, so it took almost a day for it to get up there.
Yeah.
Right?
But one of the things that I have to mention before I forget is that Egypt thing, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Egypt is special. Once you get there, you are standing inside of those pyramids, and you realize the thing was made 4,500 years ago, 5,000 years ago, and you are standing in that place. I mean, you get goosebumps, man.
So you went to the Valley of the Kings.
I went to the Valley of the Kings. I went to Luxor. I went to, Aswan, and I went to Alexandria. I went to Giza in Cairo.
Oh, you went to did you go to the museum?
No, museums, I cannot even spell a museum. Museum, no, honestly. I mean, you have to, if you want to punish me, you take me to a museum.
Okay.
I just don't, everything is there. I like action. I like live things, baby. You know me.
So when you went to the Valley of the Kings, did you go through the little town that they basically set up for tourists and scholars who go study that?
There is a mansion. I didn't go to the town, but there is a mansion this famous German guy lived. It's a big
Yeah,
compound. I
right.
mean, it's huge compound. Very. I don't know if anybody is living there, but it was set up for the guy.
So where did you stay when you went to the Valley of the Kings?
No, I didn't stay there. I stayed in a nearby place, a town.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, the nearby town.
I stayed one town, but I forgot the name. And from there, I took that.
The bus, yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I was there, and I went with a group that was like studying artifacts that they were. I mean, so before I tell you the story, did you sense that when you were walking through the site of the Valley of the Kings, that everything that they were telling you what it was a bunch of crap?
Yes. I was going to the same. Yes, exactly, sir.
Right.
Honest to God.
Yep.
I was going to the same thing. I was going to tell you about that. I think it's all they're telling me is a bunch of freaking baloney.
Yeah, baloney. Yep.
Yes. And I was really surprised to find when I was in Luxor. When I saw that famous, there are a couple of temples there.
Right.
I forgot Karnak or something.
Right.
And different levels. So they rebuilt the place so many times, and those posts, they have inscription, Berlin, the name of the guy, Berlin. Or the other highest section was Italian, some Italy. So
Right.
the place was rebuilt many times.
Right. And because it is such an energetic spot, such a thing that has, if we knew what that stuff really was, we would realize who we were. And that's why they hide that from the general public.
Yeah.
Because what's going on around us now has nothing to do with who we really are. What?
I was just standing next to this guy's van, and he got a ticket. So poor guy has a bad birthday present.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I don't like the ticket, but I don't know. So that's what it is, man.
Yep.
And I'm going to make a T-shirt.
Right.
This cab driver, he gave me a line. He says, "You make what did he say? You make trouble, come back double. You make nice, come back many times." So I'm going to make a T-shirt like that. Yeah, he spoke bad English, but the meaning was good.
Yep. I like the meaning. Well, okay, handsome. I'm glad you're back in the States. So I can talk to you a little more often.
Okay.
And when I know where I'm at in the next few weeks, I will get a hold of you even sooner.
Yeah. So the video is called Spooky World.
Spooky World. Yeah. You can look on your phone while we're talking, can't you?
Well, I don't know how to do that. I think it's probably wrong, but I don't know how to do that. I have to get off my phone, then I look at that.
Right. Spooky World. And it is a very strange video.
Really?
Yes, I have a new buddy, Mr. Magic, and we're going to start doing a pod series, and you're going to be part of it.
Well, I have a friend I saw her a few days ago, and she's a kind of interesting person. So I asked her, I said, I have this friend, he's doing things, and would you like to be a part of that show? So she is really reluctant. She says, no, but I think I'll try to convince her because she would be a great guest for your show.
Right.
She's just like you, man.
Okay, so did you give her my channel? Say go to look at.
No. I told her about your channel, but nothing else. I'm going to try to convince her to get in touch with you somehow. I'll ask her for her
Well,
phone
just give her my email.
Yeah. And we'll try to connect because I think she would be a great guest for you because she's an interesting character.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Okay,
buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, sir. Bye.
Love you. That's my rainbow brother. So what time is it now? Is it 2 o'clock yet? Not even 1 o'clock yet. Holy moly. I will. 1 hour and 24 minutes, one person, 2 likes. So come on, more likes, some more comments. Sandra, James. And you know, I put John on today because he, again, the canary in the coal mine. You know, he is definitely, and he is sincere about everything he speaks, but he is so out of that ease, out of that soma, right? And so, and that's somatic. You know, somatic balance is when you know what you know is in your muscle, right? But if you separate them, it doesn't work, right? So I keep saying, you know, you're not your body. Well, you're not just. I should say, you're not just your body, right? And in the somatic perspective, and it's when your body, consciousness, and spirit are in harmony. When you're working from that point of view, and when you're working from that point of view, you can only be serving love's co-creation. That's it, right? You're not sinning, as John would say. You are in balance with love's co-creation. You are doing, you know, what you're being in on the beam with Jesus, and you are having God's unconditional love in your heart. And so when I say, so John, you know, God is unconditional love, and he kind of, you know, because he's thinking that, you know, I'm trying to get him to say that God loves the sinner. Well, he does. You know, it says it all over the Bible. You know, don't love the sin, but love the sinner, right? Pretty much, that's what Jesus said. That's what is in the Bible. New, Old, Future Testament. It's pretty much that's it. So that's how I care about everyone. I mean, yes, people, I can be annoyed by humans. You know, they have just, you know, and I look at myself in the mirror. Who is that guy? He's annoying me. You know, it's me. So that is the bottom line of it all. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for 1:30, right? And, let's try two more people who. Woo. Yeah, she's not there. Let's see. It's sweets around. There we go. Hey, honey bun, I'm just checking in with you. How you doing? Be in your neighborhood in a few months. So, weeks, days. And we are still experiencing our Indian summer, so enjoy it. I think we might have it until New Year's. So it should be interesting. Okay, I love you. Speak to you later. Well, Let's see. Did we get no? God, boy, things are going slow. But so I think that was an interesting show for today. I covered a few bases. Again, I'd love to hear what you think. Sandra, what do you think? And James, guys, comment not so much on John. John is a constant, right? If you're going to comment about John, comment about so how I brought him on the show today and the things he talked about, and deconstruct them, because what John talks about is very interesting and deep. It is this reflection of a perspective that is very tantamount to the gestalt of the present physical experience of the human only experiencing the physical. And because they can't be living the spiritual or even the conscious, they just, it's like reading the book over and over and over again. Having that laundry list that, how am I going to pay my bills? What am I going to do with it? Blah, 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 right? So it's what it is. So anyway, that's where I'm going with this. And oh, look, we hit, see, time flies when you're having fun. It's now 1:39, right? So when it gets to be 1:30, 1:11, I'm out of here, right? I'm going to put the little arrow onto the thing. And there's 52, 54. Remember to breathe. I wasn't really breathing then. Now I am 31. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay.